Hello, racing fans, and a warm welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Saturday, where we're racing at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and of course we're racing alongside Turfentine. So it's a busy day for you, the valued racing fan. Lots to look forward to, and you need to pick your spots and know where you're going to play. Hollywoodbets Kenilworth has got a busy day. It's an early start at 11:35, and all things being equal, we should close things off there by 16:55. I say a busy day at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth because there's 10 races carded and there's some exciting features. I see the Iridescent Stakes is one of them, the Winter Mile and the Langerman. Nice to have Graham Hawkins, who's usually on the line for our racing from the Western Cape, be it Hollywoodbets Durbanville or Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. He's a busy man over the next few weeks, as he's been over the last 3 months or so. And I think the first thing you'll say, how's your mood, Graham? Because this is a lovely, exciting time for us, but behind the scenes, is it stressful?
Yeah, there are obviously things that you worry about, but it is the most exciting time of the year. It's what we're in the game for, and I love this time of the year as we approach the running of the Hollywoodbets Durban July. Next week, of course, the final field announcement, the draws, the gallops. It just accelerates from there, and I'm sure we're in for a bumper day. So spirits are high, the mood is good. We're all very excited.
When it just comes to like on-course, venues fully booked out?
Everything is booked up.
And then ticket-wise, do you guys keep a
yes,
tab on that?
Keep a record, tracking ahead of where we would normally be, which is encouraging, but the big flood for tickets comes in the last week or so after the final field announcement. People know what's running, and then July fever takes a firm grip.
I know it's Ticket Pro that's designated, but I see the guys come on course as well. You can get it on course.
Yes, you can buy on course as well on the day, but there's also a ticket office right here on just outside on Avondale Road, just outside the gate, which is open for the last 2 weeks. So you drive up, you get your tickets, you pull away. It's easy. It's like a drive-through ticket office.
Okay, that's a bit on the premiere, the main event coming up shortly. Let's call it 2 weeks out time. So race number 1, Graham, we're going to get straight into it. 11:35, 1400 meters, juvenile plate. Doesn't form part of the exotics. I'm just going to give you a guide. Horses in single figures. Number 1, 11-2. Number 4 at 18-10. Then we got 11 at 11-2, 12 at 6-1, and Justin Snate's runner with JP van der Merwe up at 3-1. And number 14, Sail the Seas. I think we always try to bank some money in the first race to try and play for free in the exotics. Is there anything that stands out for you? Do you have a bet for us in race number 1?
I think that Krim, the half-brother to Mississippi Burning, who of course won a classic race, is ready to win. Was beaten a nose by 8 on 18, who runs in the Langerman. More about the Langerman later on. I think the draw plays into the hands of number 4, Krim. I think that number 14, Sail the Seas, has got plenty of scope for improvement. Second start, beaten a nose on debut. Also, son of Vercingetorix. Krim is a very small horse. I think Sail the Seas will tower over him, but the draw of 14 over this 1400-meter trip. The going has changed. We're on soft ground, so a lot of the form is going to change right through the card. Some horses love it, some horses don't. But I'm going to give number 4, Krim, the benefit of the doubt. He's coming to hand really quickly, and I think it's his race to lose. But that being said, 14, Sail the Seas, for me, is clearly the danger. Sail the Seas holds number 1 late December, not by much on the Bank Street form, but late December's crack pole position. I'm not expecting any upsets. I think numbers 4, 14, and 1 are the principals. Obviously for quartets, number 11, Sound of the Sea, and number 12, Cumbre Vija. But as always with these 2-year-old races, there might be one lurking under the radar that's going to appreciate stepping up to the 1400 meters and is really going to relish the soft underfoot conditions. But to pinpoint those is not so easy.
Yeah, I think Graham has touched on a salient point. As we've noticed as we move into winter down in the Western Cape, the form does change, and you need to keep a very close eye on those horses that enjoy the going. 1, 4, and 14, play around those numbers, race number 1, and you need to get on by 11:35. As I mentioned, it's a very early start. The exotics will begin in race number 2, which will be the start of the bar pot, the first of the 3 features, the Iridescent Stakes. It's a listed race, and it's for a stake of 250,000 Rand. Whilst it's a small field, Graham, there is some quality to speak about here. Let's have a look at the betting. Number 1 at 11 to 2, number 2 at 17 to 10, 4 is at 22 to 10, and 6 at 5 to 2. The start of the bipod, Graham, 17 to 10, number 2. I think the value could lie with number 8, Miss World. Greg Enion's in fantastic form as well.
It's an interesting contest. I've taken no chances in the bipod. I've included all of numbers 2, 4, and 6. Number 6, Miss World, has raced against the boys in her last 2 starts, went second to Talk to the Master. He's also in the Langerman, second to Lion Rampart. Yes, well beaten, but Lion Rampart is very useful. Miss World has had the experience of running against the boys, will step back into a female company, into fillies company, but kind of wonderful. Good form as well, second to All Out for 6. That also runs in the Langerman with a chance. Before that, second to Symphony in White. She's well above average. Of course, the early favourite, number 2, Sahara Cat, is interesting. By One World, she's won 2 of her 3 starts, but yet to be tested beyond 1,000 metres. And she's got such brilliant gate speed Ds that I'm not convinced. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I'm not convinced that she's going to be ideally suited to the 1,500 metres. But Vaughan Marshall has targeted this race for Sahara Cat, so we've got to respect his judgment. Polynomial, surprise winner at 75 to 1 on debut, but got a classic pedigree, and she could be anything. So Greg Enion saddles 3 of the 6 runners, as you said, a small field, but not lacking in quality. I do think that of his trio, number 6, Miss World, is the pick. My marginal first choice would be number 4, Kinda Wonderful. I was impressed with last run when just failing to get to grips with All Out for 6. Sahara Cat, big question mark over the trip. Only the race will show whether she will relish the extra ground or whether it's a bridge too far for her. So I'm going 4, 6, and 2 as my top 3 selections. But as I said, I don't want to take any chances in the first leg of the bipod. Even though it's a small field, I'd rather double up. Kinda Wonderful, my top choice.
I think Graham is safe, yeah. Safe, and he's had a serious chance of doubling up. And if you got some time, you're listening to this preview, just pull up number 2, Sahara's Cat form lines. You'll be wowed by it. And Graham just mentioned, if she takes her the extra distance, she could be the worthy favourite here in race number 2. Place accumulator, race number 3 starts at 12:45. It's over 1,200 metres, a fillies and mares maiden. And this is how they're betting here. Number 4 at 7 to 2. Then we go hot number 5 at 11 to 2. Number 7 at 5 to 2. We got a first timer that's been backed, Graham, 14 to 1 into 8 to 1, the last price I saw. And then 12 is at 6 to 1. So it's place accumulated time, bipod leg number 2, and there is some form to work around here, Graham. You can see that, there's no horse that is, basically separated itself from the field when it comes to the betting, although they got a 5 to 2 shot in horse number 7, the Canamea horse. I don't know how many horses in the bipod and the place accumulator, Graham. What's your view?
Well, I think the form here is quite weak, and the improvers are likely to dominate. I think Justin Snaith holds a very strong hand with number 4, Hush Money. That was priced up at 5 to 1. There's already attracting support for Richard Fourie. Drawn in gate 4, they race down the lane over 1,200 metres. Beautifully bred daughter of Vercingetorix. So this could be the stable elect, but we've seen on many occasions that the other one in the Snaith stable has a habit of popping up, and I wouldn't ignore the chances of number 12, Champagne Kisses. I think there's a lot of improvement to come. Was only 6 lengths behind Worldcraft on debut. JP van der Merwe rides this daughter of Vercingetorix. So I make the 2 Justin Snaith inmates my top 2 choices, Hush Money and Champagne Kisses. But you asked me a question. I'm going wider than that. I'm going to include number 7, Spirit Guide. And then I don't quite know what to make of the long shot number 9, Anassa's Bomb. Big improvement last time out when only a length and a half behind Ice Rain. So I've thrown that in as well. So I've gone numbers in order of preference 4, 12, 7 and 9 in the bipot. I would include all 4 of those in the place accumulator. But with the place accumulator, you've got the advantage of finalising your bet close to race time, seeing them go to the start, watch the market moves, because it could be further money for any of the first timers. It's not a deep race. The form is weak, but I do think that the Justin Snaith stable will produce the winner for us.
That could be a nice trifecta box there. Graham's giving you the numbers 4, 7, 9, and 12. And then I'll keep an eye if there's any follow through with number 11, because on Hollywood Bets, that is the only horse that's been backed anti-post. Now 8-1, the first timer from Lucinda Woodruff's stable. On to the big one, the pick 6. And we race alongside Turfentine, as I mentioned. So jot down this time. 13:20, it's over 1100 meters, and this could be a pick 6 to catch. Before we even touch on the race, Graham, there have been some big exotics around the country of late, and if you get it right, it's percentage play.
Absolutely. Rather hedge your bets, take a lower percentage, keep yourself in the play, because as you say, around the country, the pick 6s have been tough, and this may be no exception, although I do think, obviously, one stripe in the Langerman provides us with a banker opportunity because his form is just that superior. We'll get to the Langerman a little later on. He's been targeted for that race. He's a very exciting young horse. So perhaps we do have a banker, and perhaps it is a 5-legged pick 6 at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, but some of the races are very trappy.
Well, it's a build-up with all these carryovers, and we await a figure that they're going to give us on Hollywoodbets Durban July date. Most certainly, there will be a carryover. The amount will be known. Graham, do you know the amount?
Not yet. I don't think it's been finalized.
Okay, race number 4, pick 6, 1100 meters. Betting number 1, 11-2. Number 4 at 9-2. Number 5 at 28-10. Horse number 6 is a 7-1 shot. 8 is 6-1. 11 at 9-2. And that will tell you the story about race number 2. I think firstly, let's touch on She's My Captain and this wonderful record that Richard Fourie has on her, Graham, because he seems to just jump on at the right time. Last time out was a case in point where he notched up that 5th career win. She's decent on a day. I personally think she's a worthy favourite after watching her win last time out, and she seems to enjoy it this time of the year.
I think she's a worthy favourite, but that being said, it is competitive. It is a typical Class 4 for fillies and mares over 1,100 metres. A lot of the usual suspects have turned up, and I've gone a little wider than that in the bipod. I've gone with 4 runners here as well. I quite like number 8, Silver Screen. I think that'll run well. She's My Captain will run well. Love Shack, Night Vigil, and First Masterpiece. The one I've left out of the bipod is number 1, First Masterpiece, but certainly from the pick 6 play point of view, you've got to include the Daughter of Oratorio. That's won her last 2 runs for the Paddy Craz stable. JP van der Merwe is in fact unbeaten on First Masterpiece. She's won on quick ground in her last 2 starts. We'll have to wait and see how she copes with the softer underfoot conditions, but we know that She's My Captain revels in these conditions. She had a good winter last year. Night Vigil is taking time for the penny to drop, but she's coming along slowly, and she's definitely one for the shortlist. Silver Screen has won on a wet track before, was only a length and a half behind First Masterpiece last time out, and looks ready to resume a bold challenge. Won back-to-back races over Country Time and Palo Queen. Palo Queen is your sort of lion horse here. They've all been running up against Palo Queen if you go through the form lines. So it's competitive. She's My Captain. He's entitled to be favourite in an open betting market. She's not a strong favourite. There'll be money around for Love Shack, money around for Silver Screen. There's already been a touch of support for the Daughter of Rafif there. Night Vigil will have her followers, and of course First Masterpiece. She's done nothing wrong. So it's a competitive race. I think you need to go a little wider and at least include those 5 runners in the opening leg of the pick 6. But She's My Captain, I do believe, sets the standard.
And Graham's got it spot on, yep, when it comes to the numbers he's given us, because there's 11 horses and he's given us 5. I'm happy with that. 1, 4, 5, 8, and 11 in numerical order. If you had to pick the roving banker out of that 5, Graham, for quartets?
I think the roving banker would have to be She's My Captain, although Silver Screen is my marginal first choice. If you're looking for a roving banker that's almost certain to run into the money, Silver Screen, there's a little bit of a risk, a little bit bigger value at around 6 and 7-1. But I think the most reliable roving banker in the race would be number 5, She's My Captain.
Why not? Let's do the double roving banker, 5 and 8, and reduce the cost of that perm. Race number 5 will be Jackpot 1. It's over 1,000 meters, and we bring up the field and have a look at the betting. Horse number 1 is at 3-1. Number 2 at 4-1. Number 3 at 11-2. Horse number 5 is an 8-1 shot. We got number 7 at 8-1. And number 9, Mojo Man, will now be racing off a 96 gram, having been pushed up last time out. But we know he has achieved a 101. in his career. So, yeah, maybe he's got a chance of building up to that mark that he's achieved, but he was pushed up 3 kgs for his win last time out and carrying 61.5 kgs. This race, Graham, I wanted to say Mojo Man, but then I looked at that penalty last time out, and I know he's got a strong winning chance, but there has to be others in the race. And this 1,000-meter trip, sometimes it's all about how things are going to work out, how quick they're going to go. You mentioned the going, so whilst he'll be a marginal first choice for me, I have a respect for a few others as well.
He's certainly my first choice, and I've taken the chance in my pot perm that I've suggested to banker number 9, Mojo Man. I know that he's obviously been pushed up in the ratings. I know that the fillies are well treated by the conditions of the Cape B Stakes. If you look at the best weighted column, both Pork de Vos and the Charleston are way ahead of the others. But Mojo Man, fitted with blinkers again last time out, raced to a very comfortable victory over Pork de Vos. Yes, she has a chance at the weights here. But if you look at his form in blinkers, because his prior 3 runs were without blinkers, and the 3 runs prior to that were with blinkers, he's been blinkered on 4 occasions for 3 wins. He's beaten Yamadori and Mercapitano. Mercapitano has come out to prove that form pretty strong. Mojo Man loves the going on the soft side. So with the blinkers up, with the fact that he's returned to form, and I think he's going to be progressive now again. He's still a young horse. He's only rising 4. And with the blinkers now firmly part of his equipment, I do think that Mojo Man is the one to beat. And I've taken my chances and made him a banker in my suggested bipod along with 1 stripe. So I've got 2 bankers and gone wide in the other 4 legs. But as you say, Pork de Vos is well handicapped, drawn in gate 1 along the far running rail where the going doesn't seem to be negatively affected by the softer conditions. Richard Faree takes the ride. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Nordic Chief's form. Interestingly, beat Icy Blast, who's a stable companion to Mojo Man in the same ownership. So they'll have a pretty good line with Mojo Man as to whether they can beat number 2 Nordic Chief, but there's nothing wrong with his form. Swift Action, we were very strong on last time, but he takes a steep rise in class, does Swift Action. And the Charleston has another 5-pound drop. As we mentioned, the fillies are well treated here. She's running below her best. If the softer track conditions suit her, then the Charleston can bounce back. So watch out for a better run from the Charleston. And another horse that warrants a mention because of the change in going is definitely number 5, Dean Street. If you go back to this time last year, he ran 2nd to Dance Variety, 3rd to Dance Variety, 3rd to Ragnar Lothbrok, 3rd to Look for Hounds. These are all decent horses. And if you look at his record in the wet conditions, 6 runs for win, a 2nd, 2/3 and 2/4. He's never been out of the frame on soft tracks. And this is the kind of horse where the form can suddenly turn around because of the give in the ground. He possibly didn't enjoy the firmer tracks throughout the summer. And on top of all of that, his rating has come down. So he could be dangerous, tough terrain. This kind of a race is ripe for an upset, but I'm going to row in with number 9, Mojo Man, to record back-to-back victories. Horses to watch out for: Dean Street and the Charleston, and of course Pork de Vos has got an obvious chance.
Well, Graham has given us lots to think about here. If you're not in the camp of his each-way selection, which is 9, Mojo Man, he's giving you some horses that you can possibly consider to include in Jackpot 1. And if you get through with the minimum spend here, I think you're a winner. Race number 6, the Winter Mile. And it's over 1,600 meters. It's 200,000 Rand, the gross stake, the field and the betting. Number 1, Port Louis at 5-1. Then we got number 3, Zappatellis at 9-2. Number 4, Future Prince at 8-1. 6, Coastal Commander at 11-2. Number 8, Sugar Mountain is a 6-1 shot. Then number 9, Rapidash at 7-1. And the balance are all in double figures. Yes, they are. There's some names here, Graham. There are some names in this field. And I like the look of the race, and that is why for the valued racing fan out there in the fixed odds betting market, there's lots of value to be had if you like any of these horses and you're going for a punt on the head. Sugar Mountain is a horse that's given us some wonderful memories over the years that he's been racing, and he was thrown in the deep end a few times where he's not up to that type of feature level, but he's a talented horse, Graham.
Very talented horse, as is Zappatellis. As we know, they've both got 61.5 to shoulder. Zapatilis last time out had his first run after 9 months.
Sure.
He had quite a serious operation injury that he had to recover from. His record in the wet, on a wet surface, is 4 starts for 2 wins, a second and a third, so nothing wrong with that. But maybe he just needs one more run to bring into peak fitness. Sugar Mountain went up to the Highveld, needed that last run, but certainly the form at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth is there for all to see. But it's not going to be easy for them of 61.5 on a soft track. And I think this Winter Mile, this year's renewal of the Winter Mile, is a real tough race. Port Louis has got the advantage of Richard Faria board and pole position. That's going to be critical from a tactical perspective. Coastal Commander and Rapidash. I do prefer Rapidash of the two because I think Coastal Commander is going to find it tough to concede 3 kilograms to Rapidash on all known past form. Future Prince for me is interesting. Ignore that last run behind the Futurist because that was that crazy race when the Futurist raced about 30 lengths clear and held on to win by 10 lengths. Or 52.5, I think you ignore number 4 Future Prince at your peril. Gold Poker Game, she really likes it soft. Her course and distance form is good. Her last couple of runners have been below form, but this is another filly that suddenly the change in going can turn that form around. So don't be surprised if Gold Poker Game comes through to cause an upset. And Hat's Pride, interesting runners, Hat's Pride, 52.5 on the back. He ran 5th in the Guineas behind Snow Pilot. Last time out, 3rd under a length behind Aspect, over 1,400 metres. Glenn has always thought highly of this horse to throw him into the Guineas in the first place. The fact that he earned a share of the stake was a bonus. He ran 5th to Snow Pilot. His form doesn't jump out at you, but there might be untapped potential there. And this kind of race on a soft track with 52.5 on his back. So it all adds up for me to a very, very tough race. It's not going to be easy to narrow down your selections as far as jackpots and pick sixes are concerned. I've gone very wide in my suggested bipod perm, as you will see. If I had to single out one as a hesitant first choice, I would go with number 9, Rapidash, but not with a great deal of confidence, Dees. I think the Future Prince has a chance, obviously, Zapatilis and Sugar Mountain, but we've been through them all. It's a tough race. It's not going to be easy. Tactics is going to play a role. Port Louis will get the run of the race from that inside gate. Coastal Commander's in very good form. So it's a tough race. I think each and every one of them has got a chance of winning.
Well, what discussions can do for a preview. Hat's Pride, you got me thinking here, Graham, because I even go to that Politician run and see where he was drawn. And he was making steady progress behind the ruling Hollywoodbets Durbanville favourite, who was Greenwood Envy. And that's not a bad run, considering that he was only beaten 5 lengths and now carrying 52.5. Graham could be onto something here with Hat's Pride. Of all the runners that you've spoken about there, Graham, whilst you've given them all a strong case, I really like the case that you've given for number 7, Hat's Pride, and that's in double figures. Jackpot 2 will be race number 7, the Langerman, a Group 3 over 1,500 meters. Now, this is some talent here. Yep, the juveniles around the country, we've seen some star performances, but Cape Town, Graham, I mean, yep, the juveniles that they're stepping out there on a weekly basis, the numbers and the quantity and the quality. There's some exciting horses for next season.
And I'm so looking forward to seeing the Langerman. You know, it's an important race, being won by One World, who's the sire of One Stripe, yes, won the Langerman. So did Variety Club, so did Jet Dark. Beautiful horses that have gone on to make their market high. I'm not going to put One Stripe in that category yet. He might well get there, but I'm not looking past One Stripe. So, you know, we don't have to dwell on the Langerman. For me, here's the banker, he's the nap of the day. You've got to go wide in some of the other legs. I don't deny that horses like Talk to the Master, 8 on 18, even perhaps Mauritius Kestrel, 1 or 2 others, all out for 6, obviously has a claim on his form, his stable companion to One Stripe. But you've got to take a stand. I like what I've seen. Vaughan Marshall penciled in this race a long time ago. I chatted to Vaughan Marshall yesterday. The preparation has gone well. He's cracked the inside gate. This has been his 2-year-old campaign mission from day one. So the fact that he's won 3 in a row, including 2 grade 3s over 1,200 metres, is an absolute bonus. I think he's already penciled in for the Hollywoodbets Cape Town Guineas in December. Clearly, he's going around the turn for the first time, so clearly he's stepping up to 1,500 metres for the first time. But he looks to be a special horse in the making. And there's no such thing, as we've often said, as a racing certainty, but he's entitled to be 11 to 20. And quite frankly, I think they're racing for second place. The others, I nearly said something else, but I'm going all in with one stripe.
Okay, that's it. Graham Strong, 5 to 10, by the way. Number one stripe, and number 3 at 6 to 1. Horse number 6 there at 6 to 1. And we got number 8 at 8 to 1. But that is the banker for Graham Hawken. He's given us all the confidence in the world. And of course, having chatted to Vaughan Marshall, that is a big boost for the show as well. Once you get the green light from the trainer when it comes to preparation, that's all you need, because the form will match the information, and now it all is left to do is for the horse to deliver, and that's going to be the Langerman, the Group 3 in race number 7. Again, we remind you, 15:05. Jackpot 2. Race number 8, it's a middle stakes over 1100 meters. We got the banker in Jackpot 2 in leg number 1. Can we try and narrow things down here? Well, Graham's going to tell us if he can. Number 2 at 33 to 10. Horse number 5 at 7 to 1. Then we got number 8 at 7 to 1. Number 10, Southern Skies, is at 7 to 2. And a very interesting equipment change to this horse, who was partnered by Richard Free last time when she won. They've gone with blinkers over this 1100 meter trip. And then number 14 at 8 to 1. I wonder what happened there, Graham. I mean, the horse won well last time out. I didn't see anything untowards in the running, but now blinkers. Something from Azzy or something from Richard?
I would bet from Richard. Yeah. Perhaps he feels the filly was just kidding to him a little bit. Took maybe a bit long to get going, got up in the closing stages to beat Nordic Quest. It was a win full of merit, and she's clearly holding form well. The blinkers addition to equipment is interesting because it could work or it may not. Sure. But I'm going to judge her on the form. So there's nothing to choose between her and number 2, Nordic Quest. I've been a long-time fan of Nordic Quest. She's a beautiful, beautiful daughter of Karari. She's holding her form well. She's won on a soft track when beating the Sweet Chestnut Stakes winner Princess Izzy at Hollywoodbets Durbanville in August last year. So she's a big filly. She'll cope with any ground, I'm sure. So I'm really expecting a big run from number 2, Nordic Quest. But it is competitive. There's some decent fillies in the race. Kyalami Girl has been a little disappointing in her last 2. Highly confidential, could bounce back here. A Girl Like Us, runner-up behind Nordic Quest and runner-up behind Great Cat in her last 2 starts. She's knocking very loudly at the door. 10 Southern Skies we have discussed. Carthera is not too consistent, but she might find it a little tough in this company. And then number 14, Winter Rainfall, not too far behind Pineapple Mint Green in the penultimate start. And on the heels of Southern Skies and Nordic Quest last time out, Southern Skies won that race ahead of Nordic Quest. Winter Rainfall was behind them, as was Kinky Boots. So there are a few with chances. Anybody who says that this middle stakes for fillies and mares over 1100 metres is an easy race, I think is a little off the mark and perhaps a little overconfident, but I really do like number 2, Nordic Quest, and she would be my recommendation as a floating banker. How you structure your play in this leg as far as the jackpots and the pick sixes is concerned is entirely up to you. You might be able to get away with just taking numbers 2, 10 and 14 coming out of that last Southern Skies form line, but obviously you wouldn't be surprised if Girl Like Us won it, or Highly Confidential, Kyalami Girl, but I think that Nordic Quest for me.
2, 10, 14, I'm going to give you my number there. I'm going to just include one more into Graham's 3 numbers. We're going to just go 4 runners here if you're following the show. 2, 10, 14, and I'm going to go with 5, Kyalami Girl. I think that should be good enough in race number 8. Whilst it is competitive, as we were mentioning, speaking through these horses, or Graham was mentioning, I think those 4 runners could possibly be the right 4. Now we're on to the business end of the race when it comes to the exotics and what dividends are being reflected when it comes to race number 9, and hopefully if you are standing, the right numbers fall into place. It's over 1950 meters. It's a middle stakes, Graham. The betting as we bring up the field: number 4, 6 to 1, number 5 at 3 to 1. Number 6, Time for Love, is a 15 to 10 shot. Then we got number 9, Navy Strength, at 8 to 1. Yeah, I don't know which camp you're in here, Graham. When you look at the betting, there are two sides. You always look at the best weighted column, which is, a sign to say where horses are better handicapped. But are you with the fillies or the boys here?
I think in this race I'm with the fillies. As you've mentioned, the conditions of, the B stakes and C stakes races and these middle stakes do favour the fillies. They've been specially designed that way to make the fillies competitive against the boys, to encourage them to run in these open races. That's been a stated sort of mission, if you like, of Cape Racing, and it's worked well for them. Time for Love and Rainbow Lorikeet for me. If you're looking to narrow this down to just a couple of runners, I think you have a bright chance of getting through if you restrict your pick six and jackpot selections to just numbers 6, Time for Love, and 5, Rainbow Lorikeet. I think you'll get an excellent run for your money. So those two very competitive. If you're looking to add 2 colts into the mix and extend your list of choices to 4, then I would include number 7, Otto Laken, who's starting to look as if he could come to hand. He hasn't done much, it has to be said, in the Western Cape since relocating from Turfentine. This is going to be an important winter for Otto Laken and Gareth Van Sale. He's a very handsome individual, he's looking well, and this is a race where he might just show that he's coming along the right way. But obviously number 9, Navy Strength, finished just in front of him in that crazy race behind the Futurist. And if you look at Navy Strength's course and distance form, because I've always had the impression that he would prefer further, but he's had 3 runs over track and trip for a winner, second and a third, so 100% of the time in the top 3. So he's ideally distance suited here, he's ideally course suited, and I don't think the draw of 9 is too much of a concern for him in this race. But the top 2 selections for me are number 6, Time for Love, and number 5, Rainbow Lorikeet. I wouldn't split them. I know behind Red Palace last time out, Time for Love was a length and a half or what in front of Rainbow Lorikeet. But I think Rainbow Lorikeet is decent in her own right and deserves the utmost respect. So if you want to narrow this down to 2 runners, I would include numbers 6 and 5. If you're extending that list to 4 runners, then I would throw in numbers 7 and 9.
Okay, Graham's given us 4 runners, and I'm happy with that. By the way, Gavin Larena, we know that his main mission is for 1 stripe, but he's picked up some fair mounts along the way, and he could be worth following. And then Navy Strength, Graham, has alluded to that form line behind the Futurists, for some races prior to this as well. And the jury's out on the form line there on how that race was won and how the form line is going to work out. So numbers 7 and 9, the backup. And I'm happy with that. In numerical order, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Race number 9, and then we close things off in the 10th race. It'll be 5 to 5 where we should end things off. And guess what? It's the Hollywoodbets Durbanville line distance of 2,200 meters, and aptly named the Hollywoodbets Bright Future. It's a Cape C stakes, and we'll bring up the field with the betting. Number 2 at 11 to 2 as a guide. Number 3 at 9 to 2. Horse number 6 at 4 to 1. Number 7 at 6 to 1. Then we go on to number 9 at 11 to 2, Graham, and it's double figures the balance. Firstly, want to touch on this jockey here, Graham, number 11. I don't know the name, or maybe I haven't been following the name.
Steve Donahue, I think he comes from the UK. He's out from the UK to help Des McLaughlin and Dennis Le Breton. He hasn't had too many rides since he's got here, but he'll find his feet. He's a top rider, make no mistake about that. Sure. This race, Steez, race 10, the Hollywoodbets Bright Future Cape C Stakes, 2,200 meters. Let me state right up front, I'm not going to be of much help. I can't find the winner.
Get it right towards the latter part of the meeting. You usually get us out of jail, Graham. You get us out of jail.
Well, I'm going to get you out of jail here with the crazy selection.
Yes.
I'm going to go with number 5, Mr. Monocle, as my each-way play, purely on the fact that on a soft track he's had 5 starts for 3 wins, a second and a third. I think he's going to relish the conditions. This is his 4th start back after quite a long layoff. He was off the track from October 2023 to March 2024. He was reintroduced over 1,400 meters. He was completely in need of the run. He was completely outpaced. Then he stepped up to 1,800 meters. Not too bad a run. Last time out, he was progressing behind Baton Rouge. If you're going to take that form literally, then he's got a little chance of overturning the result with number 2, Baton Rouge, who's certainly found a new lease on life, has Baton Rouge in the Pit Boerter stable. But I think Mr. Monocle is now going to progress further. He goes over 2,200 meters. I think we're going to see the best of him. But he's a double figure odds. You pays your money, you takes your chances at a big price on an each way play. That's as much help as I can be, because Baton Rouge, Twice the Master, the weak favorite Damio, Sudden Song, Ignatius, these all have chances in what, for me, is one of the more tricky races on the card.
I like your thoughts. I just looked it up, Graham, and 12-1 is the odds at the time of recording for number 5, Mr. Monocle. And I must say that Graham's been good latter part of the meeting when you needed most, trying to find us some value. And this could be the value to close things off. Race number 10, number 5, Mr. Monocle. Well, you heard it from Graham throughout the show that his chosen bet for the race meeting is the bipod. Graham, let's go through it as they bring it up on screen. Graham's suggested bet for Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on the Saturday is the bipod.
I've probably gone too wide in the first leg, including all of numbers 2, Sahara Cat, 4, Kinda Wonderful, number 6, Miss World. I almost bank at number 4, Kinda Wonderful, and I might take a second perm where I cover Mojo Man and start with the banking Kinda Wonderful. But the second leg, 4, 7, 9 and 12, I think you need all of those. The third leg, numbers 4, 5, 8 and 11, I think you need all of those. And as mentioned, I've taken my chances by bankering number 9, Mojo Man, in the fourth leg. So I might take a second perm where I bank a Kinda Wonderful in the first leg and cover Mojo Man with the same numbers, because I'm very happy with one stripe as a banker at the back. Now, in the Winter Mile, I've gone very wide, 1, 3, 4, 6, 8 and 9. But having chatted with Dees and he's picked up on it, I'm going to add in number 7, Hat's Pride. I'm going that wide. 1, 3, 4, 6, 8 and 9 is what's on screen. But hopefully you got the volume up. I'm going to throw in number 7, Hat's Pride, as well. That's the race where you want to try and get a result, because we've got the odds-on favourite one striper banker in the last leg. So, Dees, there we have it.
Yeah, thanks, Graham, and absolute pleasure as always. Hopefully things fall into place, and to yourself and the entire team at Gold Circle, along with the title sponsor Hollywoodbets. I'd like to wish you guys all the best over the next couple of weeks or so in the build-up to what is the most exciting time for us here in KZN and as a fan of South African horse racing, wherever you position around the globe. So all the best to the teams, Graham.
Thank you, Dees. Much appreciated.